Hi, I'm Alex Elle, and I write books for a living. The Hey Girl podcast was created with sisterhood and storytelling in mind. Hey girl.
Hey girl.
Hey girl.
Hey girl.
I'll be sitting down with some phenomenal women to discuss love.
I believe we grew distant out of love of some type, I don't want to hurt you.
Loss.
Really don't know what's going to trigger that feeling of grief in any moment.
And a topic very important to my work, self-care.
Freedom is self-care. It's not about pedicures. It's not about clothing. It's not about trips.
Join us as we journey through sharing together. Today I'm speaking with Julee Wilson, the fashion and beauty editor at Essence magazine. We're talking about motherhood, writing, career, and of course, self-care. This conversation is rooted in love and vulnerability as we sit back and share stories about motherhood, wife life, and everything else in between. This is Julee's story. Hey girl.
Hey girl, what's up?
Julee, thank you so much for being with me today. How are you?
I'm really great. I'm really excited to be here with you. I love you and I love everything about you, so I'm really excited that I'm getting to chat with you.
So before we get started with our conversation, I would love for you to tell the Hey Girl listeners a little bit about you. So who are you and what do you do?
Ooh, who am I? I am Julee Anastasia Wilson Wareham. I am the fashion and beauty director at Essence magazine. I'm a mama and to my 4-year-old son Orion, and the wife to my husband Rasan, and a sister and a daughter and a friend and all of those things as well.
So diving in, fashion and beauty at Essence, I would love to chat with you about how you got started where you are, maybe even before Essence, and how you came to be in that position and what it's taught you about sisterhood and community and standing in your power.
Whoa, that's a
it's
big
loaded. Sorry.
Whoa, that's a lot. How did I get here? I mean, I think I always knew I wanted to be a writer, and I wanted to write about fashion and beauty because those things excited me and were fun. And so after a series of internships, I landed my first full-time job at Real Simple magazine as the assistant to the editor-in-chief, and kind of worked my way up to being the staff fashion editor for 6.5 years.
Wow.
So it was a long time in the beginning of my career, and then I transitioned over to the Huffington Post because, you know, it was 2011 and magazines were folding and they were keeping their websites, and I just knew that in order to have longevity in the industry, I would really have to learn digital, and the best place to learn digital is at a juggernaut like HuffPost. And so I went to HuffPost and I was there for 4.5 years, and I think I have over 2,500 clips at HuffPost because it was just a machine. I was just, you know, writing it could be 4 to 6 stories a day, 6 days a week. So it was a lot, but it was really great to kind of learn digital and learn the wave of how publishing and how journalism was going. And then I got the opportunity while I was at the Huffington Post actually to write a September cover story for Essence, which is just insane because as a little black girl coming up, you know, in the world in general, you don't even have to be into writing or publishing.
Right.
Essence is this heritage brand, and it's this thing that's omnipresent in your life. And so I think I always wanted to touch Essence at some point in my career. So for them to ask me to write the September cover story that was actually going to be about Misty Copeland, who is a friend of mine, she's principal ballerina at American Ballet Theater, I kind of jumped at the chance, and it was I have to do this. After a series of back and forth with trying to figure out if I could do it, at the Huffington Post, they were like, you know, we don't really want you to do, you know, any freelance writing. And I kind of dug my heels in and I said, well, I'll just take the consequences. If it means me losing my job, I have to take this opportunity and write this cover story. And they were actually like, well, wait, if it's that serious, then you can stay. But I think it was a real turning point in my career when I just understood my worth and understood that what was important to me. And so 6 months after I wrote that cover story, they called and offered me a job at Essence, and I kind of jumped on it.
I was going to ask, how quick did you jump on it?
Yeah, I mean, really quick. I mean, like, look, I think I had an amazing career at the Huffington Post, and I learned so much. And Ariana, I still count her as like a really amazing mentor and person in my life. Even her initially saying no to me writing that Essence cover was for a purpose. It was to allow me to find the courage in myself to say, I'm going to do this, and like I'll find another job because I'm dope.
Yeah.
And then when they ended up allowing me to write it, I wrote it, and it was great. I stayed at HuffPost obviously through after writing the cover story, but then when Essence called like 6 months later, I was like, I'm going to go and do that because you can't stay stagnant. And I think being there for almost 5 years at HuffPost, I was like, let me go and try something new, and definitely Essence is just amazing. So
I think that's really awesome. And it touches on the point of standing in your power, like having that whole experience with the Huffington Post and learning so much, but also standing up for something that you wanted to do, right? And then that turning into your dream career is so beautiful. And I want to backtrack just a little bit because I'm sure before writing as a professional, there was writing as a personal practice. And I would love to explore how writing came to be in your life and when you fell in love with words.
I mean, I think from when I can remember, I was like always writing notes. Like I remember always like writing my mom a note if I wanted to go to a friend's house. Like it would just be so simple to just say, Mom, can I go over to, LaToya's house to go play? But it was me writing her a note and telling her what I wanted to do there. And like it was weird. Like I just was always, I guess, in love with the actual not only words, but like the written word. Even in college, like funny enough, like when I compose with pen and paper. Like it's really hard for me. I mean, I've done it now after working at the Huffington Post and having to write so fast of composing on the computer, but I still love to like handwrite, and I always write in cursive. Like I can't print. My hand just won't do it. There's just like this love affair with words and writing and that sort of thing. I wish I journaled more. I mean, I listened to this podcast and the conversations you have with folks and like your own personal practice, and it's so inspiring because I used to journal a lot more, and now I just like haven't, and I just need to get back to that because I think it always makes you have a better voice and a better and just be a better writer. But my personal writing practice has kind of dwindled, sadly. But I'm writing so much for, Essence and other projects I'm working on that it's hard for me to do my personal writing.
Do you miss it?
I do. I miss not only the practice of it and like how it helps me just like move through my life and like make me feel better, but I also miss it for that sense of like what I'll leave behind. And it's like I can't, like there's so many days and experiences and things that I'm not writing down, and like they'll just be lost when I leave this earth. And like I want them to be here for, not only my family but anyone else who like discovers my journals.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, and our words outlive us. And I'm really just happy to hear you kind of segue into that, because I had this conversation with one of my self-care coaching clients, and she's a lawyer and she is busy and all these things, but she's also a new mom and a wife. And a part of our practice is creating ritual through writing. And she has been doing such a wonderful job with her journal questions and her writing homework. And literally, she has birthed something that she can leave behind for her son. And she brought that up at our session last week. Like, Alex, I'm so glad that we were able to do this and that we're able to work through this stuff, because now I have my journals that I can leave to him or give to him when he's older, so he can know me and know what I'm going through or what I have gone through and how much I love and care about him and his dad and just all the things. So
right.
I love that you were, able to explore that too and just say, that's something that you want to do, and you know I'm going to encourage you to do it.
Yeah, I know. I mean,
lean
I feel,
into that.
I know. I do need to lean into it. I do. I think I sometimes get caught up in my head too as like a writer, and I'm like, it's got to be good. You know, like I can't just like sit down and be like, I had a, you know, a uncomfortable experience today around X, Y, and Z.
Right.
Like I don't want to just like have it be this piffy,
Right.
like I did this today, I ate this today,
Yeah.
I feel sad, I feel glad. Like I want it to be like this like beautifully written, like poetic, like representation of like my day. And like I think the pressure
Yeah.
I'm put on myself from that like prevents me from even opening up my journal, because I'm like, what I'm not going to do is waste this paper and
Right.
this time and like this ink
Yeah.
on just it was an okay day, you know?
Yeah.
Like
I mean, that's
I just-
real. And I think that's why a lot of people
Yeah.
don't journal and they don't write or they don't want to, because it's like, where do I start? And I think, you know, personally, I prefer journal questions because it's like, okay, this is so much better than sitting down with this Dear Diary experience, which is boring and like, what do I say? Where do I go with it? All that jazz. So I feel you, girl, all the way. So to shift gears into motherhood, let's talk about 4-year-old Orion and like how his birth up to 4 years has shown you another side of who you are and how self-care plays a part in your mothering experience.
Oh my God, I'm like literally getting, this is how emotional I am. I'm like literally getting weepy. Anytime anyone asks me about him, I just like get weepy because I just love him so much, and I love what he's meant for me and like my like personal growth. I just feel like when I became a mother, I immediately understood like at least part of my purpose, you know, and it crystallized my career and like what I was doing. Like it was not only for me to be like, you know, get my byline on a really great story or twirl at an event or go to a fashion show or, you know, have a lunch with, you know, the PR person at Chanel Beauty. Like those are all amazing and fun things, but like this was like, I want to make him proud. I want to make my time spent away from him count. You know, it makes you more efficient as an employee and as a person, because you're like, I don't have time to just like put that off for another, you know, day or a few hours. I want to get my work done. I need to go and pick up my son. I want to make sure that when I do pick him up, if I'm going home, that I'm not immediately opening up my computer and I'm spending time with him. So it's very practical and personal. You know, it's the practical side of being more efficient. It's the personal side of like, I'm somebody's mama and I want them to be proud of me being their mama.
How has mothering and just parenthood brought you and your husband closer?
It's just cool to see us like forming a human being, because like to me, I sometimes think of us like, and I think it's a good thing to think that way of us, like us being like young and like I can't believe we're like actually like taking care of a person.
Right.
You know, that might seem immature in some sense, but it's also very like I still feel like my heart pitters and patters when I see my husband, and like you know, like when we first fell in love 13 years ago. But being able to have Orion in our lives has definitely brought us closer, but it's also obviously created a lot of challenges with, you know, figuring out how to, you know, balance our schedules and balance our time with each other, which we don't get a lot of time together, but the time that we have with Orion is just so sweet and precious. And like when we're just even just sitting on the couch watching like Paw Patrol, you know, it's like it's nice to have that time, and no one's trying to go out to a club anyway.
Right.
So so I'm like a homebody. I like being home anyway, and like being home with my two boys is just like perfect.
There's magic and memories in those moments. And Ryan and I, it's so funny. I was thinking about this the other day. Like, we don't really do much. We never really did much before because we like being home too. And like Netflix and chill and ordering in or cooking is like where it's at and where it's kind of always been at. But now with Isla, you know, Charlie, she's a big girl. So she's, you know, doing her own thing. She can entertain herself and stuff like that. So when she's at my parents' house on the weekends, they have their own little like date nights, which is super cute. It's me and Rye. So it's not, it's me, Rye, and Isla. So we don't get much date night time like we used to. And we really, you know, when I was pregnant, we made an effort to like do something every Friday night. When Charlie would go to my parents' house, we would eat in or we would go for a walk and just really try to explore those alone time moments because we knew that they were coming to an end. So just like the little twists and turns that come along with marriage and then bringing children into a marriage, it's like, oh, wow, like things have changed a lot and for the better, but things are definitely different. And just to kind of like circle back to what you said, time is limited when you have children. Time together is limited. So like really trying to be intentional about how you spend that time, you know, during bedtime, you know, when the kids go to sleep, or, you know, just making sure that you're reconnecting at some point has been a big lesson for me and Ryan. Like, did I tell him I loved him today? Are we checking in? Did we ask how each other's day were? Like, not just getting caught in the like
my heart and soul. Like I need to be more intentional about that and be more
we all do
present. I mean, Orion loves a song sometimes after we'd go through the whole bedtime routine. It's like, you know, brush your teeth, wash your face, read 2 or 3 books. Like, it's a lot, right? And after a long day of work. And so sometimes after all of that, he's like, Anne, can you sing a song? And I'm always like, no, I don't want to sing a song. And like, I just want to go and sit and like eat or like have a glass of wine, or I'm stressed out about like some project I have to do for work, and it's like I'm trying to get through this whole like bedtime routine so that I can get to this project, and the last thing I need to do is like sing a song. But like singing a song will take like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And I'm like complaining about the fact that I don't want to sing him a song. And I know that like one day I'll be like, why didn't I sing that song? I'm like really literally crying right now.
But nobody talks about that part of motherhood. It's always like, you know, we're super women, right? But it's like sometimes we don't want to sing a song, and that's okay. And like honoring that that's okay, but also doing what you're doing now and being like, but it takes 2 minutes and like I'm never going to get this time back. So just finding the harmony and the balance in the motherhood mess, in the parenthood mess, because the work can wait, you know? And I think that that's what I'm learning, is that the work can wait, even though it seems so pressing at the time. So we're all like trying to juggle and find balance and have boundaries in motherhood, and it's not always pretty. And I feel like the internet makes things like really pretty, and it's like, how?
So pretty.
It's like, that is not, like, I don't want to do that. Like, we don't go for long walks and pick daisies every day. And, you know, sometimes dinner looks like having puffs and getting nursed, and that's it. You know, like Isla loves puffs and she's like obsessed with the peach ones. But it's just like finding what works for us and not feeling guilty about not wanting to sing that song.
Yeah.
You know, and like, I feel you. I feel
My
you.
guilt just came.
Oh,
rushing.
I know. It happens.
Rushing in, but
yeah,
it'll be fine. I mean, I think that's been part of like at least the story that I like to tell through my social media, and is that it's not as easy and glamorous as what people think. You know, I work in a industry that is built on glamour and built on facade and built on smoke and mirrors. And I have to be. I believe it's my responsibility to be extra transparent about the fact that it's not like that. And at least for me, I have friends whose lives look like a page out of Vogue magazine, you know, and that's great and like it's inspiring. But for me, it's not. I mean, that's just not my life. I still bless and I still love what I do, and there's still moments of glamour, but I have to show that in those crevices, there are these like real moments. I'm a Black woman with natural hair who's a size 16. Like, fashion and beauty is not necessarily made for me.
Wow.
But I've made a way for myself and a way of speaking about being successful in the industry, but also being very true to Julie. And like, if that means going to a fabulous party and showing that on my social media, and then going home and having Orion peel off my fake eyelashes, which is like one of our favorite, and apparently everyone who follows me, their favorite segments. He loves peeling off my eyelashes. But that's not very glamorous of me.
On brand, right?
It's not very on brand as a beauty and fashion director to go to a fancy fashion or beauty event and then to come home to my small Harlem apartment, 4-story walk up, and then have my 4-year-old son peel off my eyelashes because, God forbid, you see that I live in a 4-story walk up in Harlem and that my eyelashes aren't real. You know? So but that's real. And I have to be real, and I have to show you that you do not have to have this perfect life and all of the perfect apartment and the perfect eyelashes to be successful in this world. And like, you know, I've been really vocal about, even during like Fashion Week and stuff, I'm like, or, you know, Essence Festival, I'm like, I don't have any clothes to wear because all of the companies that, you know, a lot of the companies that I work with don't even have clothing above a size 14. So it's really interesting to be in this world, but like not necessarily feel like you fit in to it.
And look at you, just flourishing and making a way and being vulnerable in the moments that nobody wants to really talk about. What I admire about you is your ability to speak up and stand in your power, and also like lean into your career and be a mother, and knowing that motherhood isn't a brand. You know, it is a experience. It is a lifestyle that never goes away. Like you're always going to be a mother. And I just really admire that about the work that you're doing and the voice that you're giving not only other women, but yourself, to be like, hey, it doesn't always look like X, Y, and Z. Sometimes it looks like A, B, and then E.
Yeah. Right. No, really. And I think that, you know, it's not only like, look, I'm not about like, oh, I need 100,000 followers to make myself feel like I'm, you know, important. Like the followers I have are definitely a good amount, but like I'm very engaged with them, and like I DM with people that I have no idea who they are, like whatever. But like I try to engage with people just to see. I don't know. It's. I think it's part of that, like just having a human connection with someone, and not necessarily that's outside of your normal life and world. I hear often that, you know, I love how real you are. Thank you for showing us that it's not a perfect life and a perfect world. But not only is it, I feel like, inspiring to others to see that, but like it's the battery in my back to keep pushing forward that like I'm not perfect, but like I'm okay with that. Like, and I'm okay with not being this like perfect example of what.
Shine is a free self-care app that will help you say, I got this, every morning. Each day, you get motivational texts and audio clips tailored toward your personal goals. Shine will help you grow and be kind to yourself along the way. Think of it like a personalized pep talk, but in your pocket. I love waking up to Shine's texts in the mornings. They're motivational, uplifting, and can really help me kickstart my day on a positive note. Shine's motivational texts make me feel like I can run my day. One of my favorite Shine features is the check-in option. They send a prompt, and I'm huge on prompts, asking about gratitude. What am I grateful for today? That's a question that I ask daily during my own writing practice. So to have it come straight to my phone as a reminder is awesome. And if you're into meditation and affirmations, Shine has something for that too. Why is the Shine app so awesome? Well, for one, it's a great way to start your day. If you ever feel anxious or overwhelmed before you get going, every weekday morning, Shine sends you a motivational text to help you hustle with your heart. Over 3 million people in 189 countries start their morning with Shine. If you're interested in giving it a try, download the Shine app today at the App Store or on Google Play and go to shinetext.com/heygirl to get 50% off Shine Premium. You'll get access to the entire Shine audio library and enjoy other exclusive features. That's shinetext.com/heygirl to get 50% off Shine Premium. Again, that's shinetext.com/heygirl. shinetext.com/heygirl.
What it looks like to be in this industry or in this world, or, be the perfect mom or perfect wife. And I like looking back at those things and not cringing, if that makes any sense.
It does. It does.
That I'm like, no, that was cool. I'm okay with the fact that I got dirt on my pants and I'm going into a fashion show or whatever, and that's so faux pas, and everyone's gonna be like, what is she doing? She looks raggedy. I don't care. That's me, and my worth is definitely not contingent on whether there's dirt on my pants or not.
It's not my responsibility to show up in this world perfect. It's my responsibility to show up in this world as I am. It's also not my responsibility to have other people receive or like me. It is my responsibility to stand in my truth and in hopes that assists other people, specifically women, stand in theirs. And the joy from this work that we're doing is building community and being honest while we're doing it, because that is where the truth is. That's where the community stands together, is in the imperfection. It's in the imperfect moments that we see the glory.
And finding that tribe, finding those people that get that.
Yeah.
I love interacting with people that get the fact that it's okay not to be what people want you to be. I'm just me, and the fact that especially in what I do, people's worths are so tied to their title or what publication they're at, right?
Yeah.
And I always say this, and I'm always like, Julie, you're gonna jinx yourself out of a job or something. But I'm always I need to be okay with me without the title and without the brand, without the company.
Yeah.
Julie is dope. What makes Julie doper is that she gets to be the fashion and beauty director at Essence right now.
Yeah.
Because I'm constantly having to remind myself, this isn't mine. This can be taken from me,
Yeah.
And what's mine is me. And so who am I? I'm dope. I'm a good friend. I'm a good wife. I'm a good mom. I'm all of these things beyond what I do.
Yes.
And what I do is definitely shiny. It makes people look to who I am, but hopefully that's just an entree for you to see, oh, but Julie, she's dope. She's the dope one. And what makes her doper is all these other things, her job.
Yeah.
But if I leave this job, or this job is, God forbid, taken from me, I'm not lost. Or people aren't well, the only reason why she was cool was because she did that. It's no, Julie was really cool. That's why on my social media, it's not just, a lot of people in my position and in this industry, it's outfits of the day, only the gifts and the perks and all of that. It's no, I'll show you, look, if I'm wearing a cute outfit, I'm gonna put that up. If I get a cute selfie, for sure. But it's also friends of mine that don't even work in fashion. It's also my husband. It's also my son.
Yeah.
It's also me doing other things. I can't just show you a facade of what you believe a fashion and beauty director at Essence should be. This is Julie. This is my life. and you'll see glimpses of what I do, but it has to be a 360 view.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
As we start to wrap up, I want to ask you how you are blooming in your career and this industry as a Black woman of color writer.
I'm really proud to be someone that people can look to as one of the a very small group of us. It's definitely an honor and a joy, and I think that I'm just growing and growing and standing more in my voice. I've been very vocal about the lack of diversity in fashion and beauty, and I feel like I've been able to do that in a way that maybe some of my counterparts and my sisters in this industry haven't been able to. I mean, I feel like we're all pretty voicey, but I kind of count it as a blessing now, and I used to think of it as not a curse, but something that bothered me was that I'd never been at like a Vogue or an Allure and Harper's Bazaar or that sort of thing. And all of those places like legitimize you as like a fashion editor or a beauty editor, right? I've been at Real Simple, which does fashion and beauty, but not considered a fashion or beauty book. I've been at the Huffington Post, which again does fashion and beauty, but not considered one of those mainstream fashion and beauty titles, and then Essence, which does it well, but is considered a lifestyle magazine, you know?
Yeah.
And because I've had this kind of adjacency to these big brands, I've been able to be like more vocal and be able to say things that maybe I wouldn't have been able to say if I was at another brand or at other brands. So I kind of and whereas, like I said, that kind of bothered me in the past. Yeah. I'm like, oh, why can't I like just be at a fabulous big fashion or beauty glossy? Like I've seen that it's been a blessing for me that I've been able to be at these other places and like really, to use the word that you use, bloom into the writer and the voice and the presence I was destined, I think, to be in this field.
Lastly, I want to touch on self-care. So how have you been honoring your self-care practice as you move through the world as a Black woman, as a size 16, as a mother, as someone who is vocal about different things that go on, not only in regular life, but in the industry? How does self-care play a part in how you move through the world in your body?
I don't think I've done a really good job of self-care. I like to talk about self-care, and I think by talking about it, I'm hoping that it manifests in my life in some way. But I'm not good at like really taking time for myself. I just literally just went 48 hours to Austria.
Wow.
For this spa, Susan Kaufman. She owns a spa and a hotel in Austria, and she invited me there, and I was there for only 48 hours, but it was just such an amazing moment of self-care, and I just realized then that I don't do a good job of self-care. I'm like very much like, what does everybody want from me? I'm a yes girl, like I'll do it, like sure, like let me do that. Like, so I definitely need to be better about that. I think as far as like my body and being in my body, it's a little hard. I'm very proud of like my size and all of those things, but I also do think that is me trying to work through the emotions of being okay with being a size 16, right? Like I was a Division I track and field athlete in college. Like I was a machine. Like I was slim, trim, and muscular and fast and all of those things, and now after having a baby and just living life, I'm now found myself in this body that I don't really recognize, but I'm learning to love. So, you know, I cry a lot about the fact that my body is different than what I've always known it to be, but then I just like remind myself, like I was like brought a dope ass life into the world. So I'm not going to like beat myself up about this, and my stretch marks and my non-flat tummy and my big thighs, and I can't fit into that dress I fit into 2 months ago or whatever it is. Like, I just get over it, buy a new dress, smile, and thank God that I'm like being able to even just take up space in this world, you know?
That taking up space. If you want to connect with Julee on social media, you can do so at Instagram at Miss Julee, MISSJULEE. The Hey Girl podcast is a member of the District Productive, produced by Paul Woody Woodhall and me, Alex Elle. Music by DC's own Kokai.